What's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Mission Pro Unmatched. I'm Front Row. Joining me, as always, is the best host from the West Coast, Trenda Magellan. Trenda, what's up?
Hello, people. Enjoying this end of the week moment. Looking very forward to the weekend.
Yeah,
Working
it's only
hard.
Thursday. I'm sorry to inform you, it's only Thursday.
It's the end of, there's one more day,
All right,
one
that's fair.
more work day till the weekend. So I'm enjoying this moment of pre-weekendness, if that even exists.
It does in my brain because Friday you're just sort of coasting into the weekend sometimes.
Yeah, hopefully.
Hey, before we get started, man, I got to give you your flowers because everyone who knows you knows that you work super hard all week and you battle LA traffic to get home in time to jump on with us on Thursday nights, and we appreciate you. I know it's a lot
Thank
of work.
you. Thank you. This is actually the fun part of my day. So I appreciate being able to be here to kind of relax and talk about some pro wrestling and get my mind right in a right way, in a pro wrestling way.
Yeah, same with me. I look forward to this every week because this is just fun. This is just super fun for me.
Exactly.
And look at all the people we have in the chat. Pepe's in there, Matthew and Mongrovian Mike. Neil's up. Neil's staying up late tonight. Thanks, Neil. Neil's got a new job,
Hey,
gets him up super early in the morning, so we appreciate him staying up late. Brent's in there. Mrs. Front Row, who celebrated her 30th anniversary with me on Tuesday. She put up
ah,
with me for 30 years. Yes, this is a thing.
yes. I'm sure she has a nice new Mercedes or something for that, or something
um,
spectacular, so
I
a
don't
Jag
think so.
or three new Coach bags or nothing. I
We,
mean,
we had
30
barbecue.
years barbecue. Okay.
No, we have a big vacation plan next month for our anniversary. You know how we do.
Yeah, definitely.
um, okay, so tonight we're going to be welcoming. We're going to be talking to our special guest, Morgan Mercy. She's going to be joining us in just a few minutes, but I really just wanted to jump into a couple of the big topics before we talk to our guest. It was a really big week in the world of pro wrestling. WWE is now part of a parent company. The merger is official. It was a $9.3 billion deal. Yes, wrestling is a $9.3 billion company. WWE is setting
Business.
the bar.
Yes.
A billion with a B. I know.
Wow.
I saw a graphic that said I think Vince McMahon had purchased the company from his father for like $1 million, and now it's a $9.3 billion company. I have shares. I have like 2 shares.
Same here. Same here. I'm trying to see like how much is that billion am I fit now? How much does that trickle down to when it's down to you? Like, to what number does that get to me? Like, will I get like $27? Like,
It's enough to buy lunch, really, but it's fine. Although they
I'm
did
holding
say,
on.
did you get the big prospectus in the mail? The big like phone book looking thing? They sent you this big booklet of all the information from the company. And I'm like, I don't know what any of this stuff is. So
Nothing. I'm just trying to see if at some point in time there's going to be a check in the mail with my name on it. That's all.
yeah. Yeah, maybe some free merch, maybe a
That-
t-shirt. Although
Something.
we went to Raw last week and t-shirts are really expensive now.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Yeah. I've been to a couple of events this year directly, and just I think one t-shirt was like $45. I bought a jacket, maybe 70. Like, yeah, and I think that was pretty much it. After that, it was just, popcorn.
Yeah, pretty much. Okay, so a lot of stuff happened this week, but for me personally, the biggest news in the world of women's wrestling was happened on NXT, and I'm a big fan of NXT. Coming out of the 2.0 era into this new era, I think they've done a phenomenal job with storytelling. Women's wrestling is really strong there. They have
Yeah,
3, 4, 5 segments and matches a week
yeah.
featuring some of the newest talent. But what we saw this week was Tiffany Stratton defending her NXT title against the man Becky Lynch, arguably one of the biggest stars on the planet in wrestling. And
Yeah.
for a time, she really was. For about a year and a half, she was hands down the biggest star in the industry. Um, I want to get your thoughts on the match. And as spoilers, as we all kind of know now, Becky did pick up the win and win that title that she had not previously held.
Yeah. So for me, again, Becky being the champion now, which I love. I'm actually loving the interaction between the main roster and the NXT talent. Um, I haven't always been an NXT fan since they changed from the black and gold color, the black and gold brand, and it's taken a lot at sometimes for me to really get interested in even the stories, but having the main roster there, having them interact, just all the stuff with Rhea, a Judgment Day, just Ali, just everybody. Just the interaction that they're having is making it more interesting to me as a fan to want to watch NXT. And this week was no different. Ever since they've been announcing it since prior week, giving those little hints, and they had the back screen vignette with Becky and Tiffany, and just saying that match was possible even from jump. I was like, oh, okay, I can dig this, because I knew as a fan that Becky hadn't won that title yet. I already knew that. And so for her to be able to be in that position and to like bring it full circle was something fabulous for me, because I always thought Becky should have been an NXT champion. And for her to just now become one, I love the story. I thought her and Tiffany had an awesome match. That match made me a Tiffany believer. Honestly, I wasn't one before. You've heard me on this show say several times, I'm waiting. I'm gonna trust the process and see what happens, and hopefully, Tiffany can spark me in some way. But unfortunately, her losing sparked me. It was like one of the best matches. It was the best match I've ever seen her in, and no short sell to Becky there. I'm sure they worked very hard together to get that match over, but it was an awesome match, and I actually became a better fan of Tiffany's in the end. So yeah.
Yeah, and Neil makes a good point. She got over even more after that match, and as you're saying, even in a loss, like I felt like she was brought to a whole new level. And it's one thing to say that Becky elevated her, which is a true statement, but more so that she stepped up to the challenge, because that's a bright spotlight to be in, especially
Oh
for
yeah.
someone so new in the business, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, again, like I said, it gave me a different perspective on her, a brighter perspective on her, and I'm actually looking forward to seeing what Tiffany does in the future. Even if she's going to be chasing this belt, even if I'm looking, I can actually see her now, or see what maybe others see in her to become that main star, that main roster star. I can see where they're going with her now as far as that talent, and I really didn't see that before this match. But hey, prove me wrong 100 times over. That was an awesome match, and I have a whole new respect for Tiffany in the ring.
Yeah, 100%. So, like you said, well, I'm excited to see where they're going to head with that. I would love to see her get her title back too, whether she goes into a tag team or moves on. I think it's maybe too soon to go up to the main roster, but I would just like to see her get some more time in the ring and some seasoning on the mic, because she's made such huge strides in such a short period of time. Imagine what she's going to be in 2 years, right?
Exactly. I can't wait. I can't wait. They got me hooked with that one for sure.
Yeah. So speaking of spotlights, our guest has joined us, so we're going to bring her in. Morgan Mercy is going to be joining us at Thriller on October 21st in San Antonio. Let's bring her in now. Hello, Morgan.
Hi guys, how are
Hey,
How are
you?
you?
So sorry. It rains a little bit in Texas and suddenly everybody forgets how to drive.
Oh, I've been there.
Yeah,
I've been there in that
you
situation
know,
in Texas.
man, you'd think they would have covered that in driving school, but that's neither here nor there. I'm here now. We made it.
Well, we're
No
glad you're
worries
here.
at all. No worries at all. We're happy to have you here. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so we were just mentioning obviously Thriller's coming up on October 21st, and
So stoked.
there's a lot of matches, a lot of great matches that have already been announced. Obviously, we haven't announced your opponent yet, and we'll get to that in a minute. But I just want to know how you're feeling. Like, how are you feeling about the show coming up? Looking forward to coming to Mission Pro.
I'm super excited to come to Mission Pro. Those that know me know that one of the few promotions that I've had on like my to wrestle list. It's not a very long list, right? Like you know, you have like the places here and there that are usually the bigger spotlights. Mission Pro is the top of that list, and it always has been. It's been the first thing I ever put on that list. It's one of the reasons I got into wrestling when I did. So I'm super excited. Not only that, Thriller is the day after my birthday. So I
Right.
think a really good birthday present would be a win. I think I could deliver that. I think I could do that for myself. But like I said, I'm very excited to come to Mission Pro. I've been watching the gals that wrestle there ever since I've started training. A lot of them are on my to wrestle list as well. But, you know, that's a little teaser. I'm sure you're going to ask me that a bit.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a minute, but I'd like to get to know you a little bit more. Like I've seen, I was looking at a lot of your match listings. You've wrestled so many great people, but it seems like a lot in Texas, right? Are you originally from Texas?
I'm not actually. I live in Dallas currently. I've been here about 7 years. My wife and I moved here in 2016. But I'm originally from Missouri. So I'm from the middle of Missouri. If anybody asks, no, it's not close to Kansas City or St. Louis. Those are the two questions I always get.
That's
But I'm glad I
interesting.
came. I don't know if I would be wrestling if I wasn't in Texas.
Well, the Texas wrestling scene is like crazy exciting right now. There's stuff going on everywhere.
For sure.
Yeah, there's so many young ladies coming through Texas right now, and really glad to have you represent them in the Texas land and come on Mission Pro and see exactly what's going to happen the day
Oh
after
man, I'm
your
so
birthday.
excited. I'm so excited. I mean, there's one thing I can guarantee: there's going to be no soft sounds. There's going to be only heavy metal, protein shakes, vitamin supplements, all the things.
Well, we're ready. Sounds like we're ready.
Oh, I'm always ready. You ain't got to get ready if you stay ready.
All right.
That's true. Okay, so while we're on the subject, what does that look like for you for a birthday celebration? You mentioned heavy metal. We talking food? We talking sushi? What are we doing?
Sushi's a good call. Usually, so there's a little hibachi place near us that does free hibachi for your birthday. So that'll probably be a thing I'll hit up. My birthday, my favorite thing I always do is go run around town and find all the places, tell them that it's my birthday, and see what they'll give me for free. I've gotten everything from Cinnabon. I've gotten free Taco Bell. I feel like I shouldn't mention other places. They might get in trouble for giving me free stuff. I'm very persuasive.
But I love that idea though, because
Right?
on your birthday, right? That you are the queen, you are the princess of this. That you should be able to.
That's what I'm saying. This is my day.
You know, hey, everybody.
Nobody's allowed to have the same birthday as me.
Acknowledge me. I feel like Roman Reigns. Acknowledge me. Show me.
That's right.
That is so awesome.
I'll expect my acknowledgement. If not on October 20th, on October 21st. But
all right. Let's see.
Well, I appreciate that you're patient enough to wait the one day. That's cool.
You know what? I'm nothing if not forgiving.
That's fair. That's a fair point. So, where did you train? Did you train in Texas?
I did. So my entire career, I've been training at Metroplex Wrestling in Bedford, Texas. I currently train under Athena, so I know the ins and outs, and I let's say I strike very well.
Wow!
And I'm going to hit you, and you might wake up tomorrow, maybe. Okay. But yeah, I've always trained in Texas. I've always trained at MPX. I just love it there. It's just such a wonderful environment to learn and grow and kind of come into my own as this wrestler and doing what I love and being in the ring. And that's all I can ask for, you know?
Has wrestling always been your favorite sport or your number one sport? Were you into any other
So,
sports growing up?
so what's funny is I played all the sports growing up. I played soccer, I ran track, I played tennis, I did it all. I was also a band kid, so I was always busy. Wrestling was one of those first things that I like really latched onto, and really sunk my teeth into like the deep history and who everybody was and what these moves are and different match types and promotions. It Let me tell you, it is a plethora of just dopamine for an ADHD brain. But speaking of that, which like probably about 2007, 2008, somewhere in there, life happens. And I just kind of fell out of wrestling for a while. A few years after that, just randomly was on YouTube one day and picked up wrestling again. And I was like, let me see what's different, what's changed since I've watched. And it sunk its talons right back into me. And I've been obsessed ever since, right? Like, but even before like I started training, like I was watching all of the pay-per-views and watching all the weekly TV. And now that I'm training, now I get to live that. And it's just so awesome.
Yeah.
So are there a few people that are inspirational to you? Do you sort of gravitate towards specific wrestlers?
Past or present?
No, past.
In the past. One of my favorites is always Victoria. I love Victoria so much. Victoria and Lita, I mean, you can see there's the inspiration here. Neither of them had blue hair, but I feel like I'll make a good trifecta for them. But yeah, so those are two that definitely influenced me, and just kind of, obviously I've always been kind of an edgy person. So being able to see that on TV and see those women go out there and do what they do and just be themselves was so awesome for me to see in those like formative years, right? But on like the men's side, because of course I watched it all, it could be because he had a ponytail, but it was Rob Van Dam. Rob Van Dam was always one of my favorites.
Oh, yeah.
He just did stuff that was different from everybody else. He was very kick heavy. He, was a high flyer, but he didn't necessarily look like a traditional high flyer. So I definitely like gravitated towards him for mainly those reasons. But even like you think back younger, some of my inspiration, Kane was always a huge inspiration for me. Mask Kane. Let's stick
Let's
to
just be real. Yeah, have to be Mask Kane. Let's just be real about that.
yeah, right. But yeah, like just a lot of that. I'm sure you hear all the time. Attitude Era is a big inspiration for a lot of people, and a lot of that ruthless aggression era too.
It's interesting you cite some of those folks, because I was watching a match that you had with Alejandro Lyon, and your kicks are very Kane-esque, very much in there. Like that big boot is no joke.
Oh, trust me. So there's a wrestler up here. Her name's Hilda. We've wrestled each other a few times. I've broken her a couple times, not to toot my own horn, but yeah, that boot, she's very well acquainted with it.
Wow.
And it's devastating.
Wow.
As you saw the results.
Yeah, exactly.
Man, the chat is just loving you. I see Mongrovian Mike's in here. Just wants to know, going back to the metal thing, what is your favorite metal band?
My favorite will always be the first one that I ever like listened to an entire album of, which was System of a Down. And the album was Mesmerize. I still have it. But yeah, that'll always be one of my go-tos. Like, I love the Toxicity album. I love Mesmerize and Hypnotize. I even like a lot of their solo stuff. But going back further than that, Judas Priest was always a big inspiration for me. Megadeth. I love a lot of Megadeth. You couldn't tell because I'm wearing a Red Hot Chili Peppers shirt right now, but they're kind of metal in their own way, Okay. So a lot of the, sorry, what did I miss?
No, I'm a Peppers fan as well. I'm a Metallica, Pantera, everything from Billy Joel. I listen to everything. So
I do too. I once upon a time I was a radio DJ, so I got really well acquainted with a lot of different artists and different songs. So a lot of stuff you hear in movies that you're like, oh, that's what that is. Cool. Now I know this song.
Yeah,
Mhm.
soundtracks are a great sort of like portal into bands,
Mhm.
right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm
And
sorry,
then
Trent. I
there's,
think I cut you off.
I was just gonna, no, I was just gonna say, and then there's always our most important question, which is King Kong or Godzilla? What-
Definitely
This is
Godzilla. It's
yeah, that's the
definitely
right
Godzilla.
answer. That's the right answer.
I mean, my dude, if I'm remembering correctly, my dude had like a lightning breath. You can't
Yeah.
beat that's so metal. I can't.
How do you beat that?
No, you don't. Rubber shoes, maybe.
Well, someone in Mission Pro management may be a huge Godzilla fan, so that's
Oh,
a
Yeah.
good.
good pick.
So I'm already scoring
That
points.
was-
You're in
yeah.
good. You're in good shape.
Good.
So just looking back at obviously you've had a ton of matches in the last few years. What's one of your favorite matches that you've had up to date?
Um, let's see. Let me think of a couple. Most recently, there was a fatal four-way chairs match at Metroplex Wrestling. Every year they do this show called The Purge, where it's kind of like Extreme Rules and like anything goes, anything can happen. It's a wonderful show. I love it. I love going to The Purge. But we had a chairs match. It was myself, Angel Blue, Hilda, and MJ Santana. That was still one of my favorite matches I've ever had because I I love that level of violence in a weird, like sadistic way.
Yeah.
I and just something about hearing like steel, not even just smacking people, like smacking a ring, like on itself. It's such a good sound to me. But despite all that, it's still one of my favorite moments from any match. And you can see it on my TikTok. I think it is at Morgan _ Mercy _ if I remember correctly. They're all different. But I had German suplexed Angel Blue onto an open chair. And it looks scary watching it back. But still, like, so devastating. Like, I love just being raw power out there and doing stuff that you don't see a whole lot of women doing. But in terms of, say, another match, I'd had another match recently at Squared Circle Pro in Lubbock. It was a tag match with myself and Evelyn Carter against Olivier Vagos and Reza Clark. We didn't come out on top, but the match just, it was so fluid and the crowd was into it and we were vibing with it and everybody just did awesome. And despite not getting the win, it was still a fun match.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome.
I was gonna say, so seems like you like a little bit of the violence in your life.
To a
So
point. To a
how,
point.
how do you feel about, like, some death matches, like GCW type of? Are you thinking about maybe getting into some things like that?
uh Death matches are
A
never
little too
never been a
borderline
big draw for
crossing like
me.
that.
Um, what puts me off, and more power to them, to each their own. If y'all love the light tubes, that's great. It's great for you. I don't mind watching it. I couldn't do it. I'm gonna tell you right now. Uh, Glass going into my skin, no, thank you.
Okay.
But that being said, not necessarily deathmatch style, but maybe deathmatch light. That would definitely be in for. You talk about like your classic hardcore matches, like tables, ladders, chairs, all that stuff. Those I'm absolutely in for. Barbed wire, any day. Glass, that's where I draw the line.
Okay. So we might agree to like thumbtacks, a traditional
Oh, thumbtacks, I'm in.
Okay.
Thumbtacks, I'm
Okay.
in.
All right.
I'm trying to figure out the line here.
Like, where is
Blurry
it?
line.
I think
More
it's
of a
the
case by case
glass. It's the
basis.
idea of the glass. That's what it is.
It's
like,
honestly, yeah.
yeah, in the glass. But
I used to work in grocery stores. I know what those things do when they explode. I'm not here for it.
No. Okay, so I have to tell you, I was watching one of your matches the other day, and your intensity is not contained in the ring. On your way to the ring, you were talking so much smack with these little kids, and to the point where the kids were shouting stuff at you, and you made the ref show them the belt. title. Like, it was
Oh, yeah.
it was awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Became a bigger fan.
Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate that. No, like people love to say stuff to me when I'm on my way to the ring, and that they can think they can dish it out and can't take it. That's on them.
Yeah.
I would ask her, do you consider yourself a heel or a face? But with that answer,
Oh, I don't play nice. I play by my own rules. I play to win. And that's just what I go out to do. Whether people like me or not, that's for them to decide.
hey,
I like me. I love me. You don't have to like me.
I'm a vote heel.
Yeah. And so
That's a fair guess.
you mentioned Angel Blue earlier. Angel Blue has a match against Mia Friday at Thriller. And
I saw that.
I want folks to make sure that you get your tickets. If you're going to be in the San Antonio area, go to missionprowrestling.com for tickets. And if you can't be in the San Antonio area, make sure that you're tuning into Title Match Network at 6 p.m. Central on the 21st of October. So you mentioned that you've been watching a lot of Mission Pro. Who are some of the profile folks that you're paying attention to?
First one that comes to mind is Genocide. I mean, you know me. I love the power game. I would love to go toe to toe against somebody as powerful as she is. La Rosa Negra, like always wanted to wrestle her. Obviously, Thunder Rosa is a big inspiration for me. A Kylan King, that's also another person who's on my to wrestle list. Struggling to think of more people at the moment.
Can I throw a name at you?
Please.
And it's someone who's only had a couple of matches at Mission Pro, and that's Janai Kai. I think you guys would have an amazing match.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. That would be awesome. We would destroy each other, and I'm here for it.
Yeah, Janai, she's actually a Mission Pro favorite. So many fans actually learned who she was from coming on Mission Pro. She got a lot of publicity there, and ever since then, I know me personally, I love the stuff that she's doing right now.
I think that's probably one of the first times I'd seen her too was on Mission Pro.
Yeah, that'd definitely be I can see that a hard hitting.
Oh yeah,
all for that.
And her first match in Mission Pro was against Thunder, so that was a sink or swim moment.
Yeah.
Here's the deep water. Figure it out.
Right, pretty much. I think it's time that we announce your opponent for Thriller. Trenda, do you want to do the honors?
I'm in.
Yes, I'd love to. So on October 21st in San Antonio, you will be facing Gypsy Mac.
Oh, really?
Your opponent. Yes.
How unfortunate for her.
Yes. I'll express your sympathies.
Yeah, pass that along for me.
When I get a chance, I'll let her know how you feel.
No, but I've seen Gypsy at a couple of different places. We were recently on that Squared Circle Pro show together. And she's kind of always been on my radar as someone that I've always wanted to wrestle. So I'm really excited to get in the ring with her and really see what she's made of.
Okay.
Yeah, she's tough. I mean, she battled back from a bad ACL injury back in 2020. Has really been making a name for herself. I know she wants to get a big win here at Mission Pro. So I'm excited for this matchup. It's going to be very interesting. I think everybody else is. I can see people in the chat are excited too. I did want to kind of get your thoughts on, I've been a big fan of women's wrestling for a long time, and that's what drew me to Mission Pro and everything that they're doing here. What are your sort of thoughts on where women's wrestling has come and where they are now, and like what work needs to still be done?
Wow, that's a big question.
It is. I know. I ask everybody.
No, that's fine. I'm glad you're not singling me out on this. We would have to have some words after the show. But as for where women's wrestling has come from, where women's wrestling has come from, like you think back to, like, I'm talking when I was a kid, like in the late 90s, where you had pudding matches and women were just the eye candy, and there weren't a whole lot of women having competitive matches on TV or just anywhere that I could see, right, as a kid in the Midwest, and that through my first foray in wrestling, kind kind of leaving it to kind of that Divas era, right? Nothing, there were a lot of great women that came through that Divas era. They fought and clawed for everything that they had and all the time that they got. That's awesome. Just wasn't the style of wrestling that I like. But as you know, like I came back into wrestling, one of the, and this is very true, first time I ever watched NXT, because I was out before NXT was a thing. First time I ever watched NXT, Bailey was in the main event. And I was at home alone and I screamed out loud, "She's so fun." And I just, that's one of the main reasons I got hooked on NXT, was just because I just loved that women's wrestling was viewed almost on the same level as the men's wrestling. And it's only gone further from there, because, you know, now you talk about, like, I am a little biased, but Athena has been kicking ass for way longer than I could even tell, right? Like, she's been around the block. She's done it all. She's a world champion. You talk about her, I mean, Asuka, and then the feud that they had in NXT, that was crazy.
Yes.
That was awesome. I loved seeing those matches. And now coming through with like Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair, and you talk about like all these women that are up at the top in WWE, like the comparison I get a lot is Rhea Ripley. You can't tell I'm not wearing the vest right now, but
I can see the vibe. I could definitely see there. Yeah.
Big
all kinds of ways too, with the personality too. I kind of be scared right now.
The best part is I do a really good Australian accent too. But you know, you talk about like going through that NXT era and then now getting into wrestling and learning about the indies and seeing all these awesome women on that level. As for what needs to be done, in my opinion, and this is very much my opinion, that people know I voice it, I'm a huge fan of intergendered wrestling. I know a lot of people are weird about that. But what I would love to see for women's wrestling, I think it's awesome that women have divisions and a women's specific belt. But I would love to see more of that crossover between the men's titles with the women. You know, talk about China. I haven't even mentioned China. Like China being the first women's intercontinental champion, that's huge.
Oh, yeah. That is so.
And like, how many women have held a men's title since? Like, you could count them on two hands, if that. But I would love to see that more. And I think you're starting to see that in some of the independent promotions. But yeah, like that's what I would love to see. I would just love to see more of that mix of styles, because I mean, men and women wrestle completely different, in my opinion.
Yeah, I totally agree with you on that level. Just having some more intergender matches would be awesome. There's so many dominant women out there right now.
Yes.
Quite a few that you've even named, you know, that you could really see, and it's believable, you know, beyond believable. Like a Rhea Ripley or a Charlotte Flair would be in the ring, you know, kicking the butt of a Miz, or even AJ Styles, or just, you know, having some of the.
Could you imagine Asuka versus AJ Styles? That match would be incredible.
Oh, please.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Take my money for that. I'm willing to, you know what I mean? Like that, that itself would be so great. I'm so for it. And I think in the major promotions, we're a little removed from that right now. But like you said, a lot of the smaller and indie promotions are really getting into it, and I'm loving it myself. Yeah, I'm with that.
But
yeah,
that's
I mean, we saw
where it starts is at the smaller level, right? And we trickle up.
It is, and that's where the influence happens. Like, we saw Masha holding that GCW title, which was such a cool moment. And not because it was for the moment, it was because she was the best wrestler in the promotion at the time, and she won the title. It was amazing.
She deserved it. Definitely. She earned that.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I love that. I love that inclusion and the way that they're headed. And I've been a big fan of NXT specifically because of that. Seeing the four horsewomen, seeing the way that the fans demanded the change on the main roster, not just for the sake of marketing or because we need to check a box, but because this was the best wrestling and this is what people wanted. As you mentioned, Becky Lynch, we talked about this earlier in the show. for about a year and a half, almost 2 years, Becky Lynch was the biggest star in wrestling,
Huge.
regardless of gender, because of the stories that they were telling with Ronda and the Four Horsewomen and all the stuff that they were doing. They main evented WrestleMania, as
Yep.
Triple H said, not because we wanted a women's main event, but because that was the story that demanded the main event. And I just love it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, I love that whole, like you said, like 2 years, Becky Lynch is the hottest thing in wrestling.
Yeah.
Like still love her to this day. And even though she's kind of changed a little bit since then, like she's still doing great work. It's just like you said, telling those stories and allowing the wrestlers to tell those stories in the ring, out of the ring, giving them time to do that. Like that's also important.
Yeah, and you mentioned Athena. I mean, I personally think that Athena is the face of Ring of Honor. She is the most dominant champion. She represents the
No
brand.
doubt.
Every match means something, and that's no disrespect to anybody else. I just think of when you mention Ring of Honor as a fan, you immediately think of Athena.
Oh
And
yeah, we're all minions at heart, as much as I hate.
That's fair.
She's definitely making that promotion something to need to watch. It's a must see. Her holding that title has put so much prestige on it. She already had such a dominant following, leaving WWE and everything, and everything she's doing in Ring of Honor right now is awesome. It's just awesome.
She's
I mean,
killing it.
I'm loving. Yes, I'm loving Ring of Honor. Just even the stories that they're telling over there for women overall, which is again crazy considering the umbrella that is under. But Ring of Honor itself has some great stories and some very talented ladies over
Oh,
there.
for sure.
Yeah.
And I think it goes beyond that too. We talk about this all the time. It's also not only about diversity that way, but also diversity of cultures and inclusion of the LGBTQ community. We're very proud allies. We just had our Mission Pro had our Pride show, True Colors, back in June, and was sold out of Pride merch. Like it was. I just love to see stuff like that, and the wrestling fan base has now changed in a dramatically positive way, I think, and I
think
think
so
it's
too.
headed in the right direction.
I would absolutely agree because I mean, you talk 10 years ago, you would not have seen that, not at all. It was like I still go back and watch something from 10, 15 years ago and cringe every 5 minutes.
Oh, it's true.
But
It's
we're
true.
evolving. We're evolving as a
We're doing
culture.
it.
So it's getting there slowly. I have faith. This is going to be a
There's
fantastic.
work to be done. Like we got
Oh,
work
for
to
sure.
do.
Slow and steady wins the race.
Right. Well, Morgan, I can't thank you enough for joining us tonight. I'm super excited for your match against Gypsy Mac. I feel bad for Gypsy Mac, but
At this point, I feel bad for Gypsy.
She should feel bad for Gypsy Mac.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll hear from her at some point. So,
yeah.
But I do want to thank you for joining us tonight. Where can people follow you on all the socials, and what do you have coming up that you want people to know about?
So this weekend I'll actually be at Metroplex Wrestling in Bedford, Texas, for their homecoming. I am in the homecoming queen match, so come watch me win that crown. Coming up after that, I've got a couple of shows in October. Obviously, I've got Mission Pro Thriller, and my birthday, of course. As for where you can follow me, on the screen is my Instagram handle at Morgan of Mercy. If I remember correctly on Twitter, because I had to change it, it is Morgan.Mercy. And it should either be that or the Morgan_Mercy_ on TikTok. So TikTok, Instagram, X, Twitter, whatever it's called now, all the things.
Awesome. Well, if you'd like to sponsor Morgan or her match or the show, make sure you email us at missionprowrestling.com for sponsorship opportunities. Get your tickets, watch Title Match Network. We'll cover all that stuff. But Morgan, thank you again. And I'll see you in October.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. I'll see y'all soon.
Yes. Well, Morgan's awesome.
Yes. Whoa.
A little scary. I was frightened for a moment.
A little bit. I'm scared for what's gonna happen on October 21st. but looking so excited for it. Yes.
I don't know if we should notify Gypsy or warn her. That's up to you.
I'll probably do. I'll let her know.
Maybe both.
I'm sure at this point she knows by now, and there might be some follow up comments to be said. But yeah, this is gonna be exciting.
Yeah, it's going to be a great show. So, folks, we appreciate everybody's joining us. We're going to have another fun show next week. Make sure you stay tuned to our socials. We've got Match Monday, On a Mission on Tuesday. We'll be back to our normal time. There's a bunch of travel stuff happened this week with our hosts, and we got there. We got there last night.
Yeah.
We had a great show last night and a fun show tonight. We'll be back at our normally scheduled shows next week. So stay tuned to the socials. Make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on those notifications. Again, email us for tickets at missionprowrestling.com and for sponsorship opportunities as well. Same email. Trent, anything else before we let folks go?
No, like I said, it's been a great week. Looking forward to the weekend. Looking forward to watching some wrestling as usual on the weekend, and doing the show next week. Hanging out with you.
Where can people find you? On the socials, not at home.
Yes, my address is across all socials. It's at Trenda Magellan. So Magellan with a J, not a G. Perfect.
Awesome. And I'm PW Front Row across all the socials. You can also find me on Saturday nights on the Nation's Corner. Make sure you tune in 7 p.m. Eastern. We will be live on YouTube every week with our fun host. It's going to be a blast this week. A lot of people have made trips and been to shows, and it's going to be a lot of stories that I'm sure you're going to want to tune in and hear. So thanks everybody for joining. Make sure you follow, like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and we will see you all next week. Later.